Indris from Christ the King Lutheran Church here.
I'm here.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
If everybody would stand and after the prayer, remain standing for the pledge.
Let's pray. Gracious God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this nation that we live in, the freedom to gather and assemble, to worship you, to come to city council meetings, to have a voice in our local government, state and federal. We pray, Lord, you grant all these folks here wisdom and guidance on how best to be a blessing wherever they're at. And we humbly pray it all in Christ's holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Our Father, to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brother Jim. Mr. Hicks, please show for the record that all councilmen are present. Gentlemen, in your packet, the minutes for the March 1st regular session and the March 9th, 2016 work session. If y'all would look over that and give me your...
So moved. Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Please cast your vote. All ayes, Mr. Hicks. All right. Mayor, recognition of the City of Enterprise Beauty Queens from the Altrusa Club.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of being able to recognize our new queen. Oh, y'all look at me. You reckon? Y'all sure are pretty, I tell you what. Miss Jay Webb. Baby, how many times you been a queen? You gotta tell me.
3.
All right, well, let me tell you something. I'm absolutely pleased and honored to be able to. How many pins have I given you? 3?
3.
Yes, please. Honored to give you your first pin on your sash or banner, right? All right. Put it right up here. So you point. Don't stick it forever. I ain't gonna stick you, I promise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a round of applause. Yeah, we'll do it, Kay. Just for you. All right. Is that the way you want it? Yeah. All right. All right, can you stay right here, baby? All right, the next one. Junior Miss, Bailey Holly. I think I've seen you somewhere before too, haven't I, girl? And I think all y'all getting prettier and prettier. Congratulations. And how many does this make?
3.
Here, Kelly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me get in the way. Ooh, I'm sharp when you think. Just bear with me. I'm getting. At least I won't have to pose for Kay this time. Did you get it, Kay?
I did.
Look here, if you'll take that one, that's bent, and you let me get with me tomorrow, better yet, I'll do this. Watch this. When all else fails, just take mine. Give her a round of applause. Team, Miss Enterprise, Annabelle Motley. Look, let me ask you something. Your granddaddy here? Where's he at? Somehow I knew he was here. Means it did make Alright. You claim that right? I would. He got plenty of money. Don't let him keep it. He got the money. And hey, I bet you can get all of it too, can't you? So you can get half? All right. Just better than all of it. He give a little, you know. All right. All right. Little Miss Enterprise, Ella Catherine Gamble. Come here, baby doll. You sure are pretty. Did you talk a lot? Let me ask you, what was your impromptu question? What was your question? What did they ask you? Can you remember? A million things. I bet so. I bet so. It was tough, wasn't it? Did you have fun? Well, good. Did you have a good day at school? There you go. Come on. Future little Miss Addison Michelle James. Again, your daddy here? Where's he at? Did you do that to his arm? Come on. You sure? All right. Well, did you have fun? What did they ask you?
I was the last one.
Just really didn't know. But you did pretty good, it sounds like. You won, right? Well, congratulations. Are you ready for this? All right. There we go. Y'all wanna do that? Y'all come on around. Let's do this. All right. Absolutely. There's no doubt. And I am biased.
That's
We
hard
got
to do.
The prettiest queen in Alabama. Let's give her one more round of applause.
Congratulations, ladies. Y'all is well deserved. I know your parents are very proud of you, as we are. All right. Next, request to address the council, Jim Indris. And recognize Jim Indris to represent the Enterprise Ministerial Alliance, who is requesting to address the council to obtain a permit for a cross-faith walk on Friday, March 25th, 2016, from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. The walk will begin at Lowe's and follow along the grass on Bowieville Circle to Gold's Gym. Brother Jim?
So moved. That sounds good. That's everything I was going to say to you. That's even more than I was going to ask.
Oh, we wrote it down for you.
Oh, that's very good. We enjoyed the one a couple of years ago, and the police were great. And I've heard that the police have already been contacted. I don't know where the chief is.
Chief's right back there.
Chief's right back there.
Everything good, Chief? Yes, sir. And this is, how many years have y'all been doing this?
Now, I don't know how many there were prior to my starting, but this would be the third one at least. But
that's great. Well, thank you so much. Gentlemen, you've heard the request. Is there any questions?
Move we approve. Second.
You got a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, please cast your vote. 5-0, Mr. Hicks. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, no old business. Moving on to new business. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Privilege of the floor. Is there anyone that would like to address the council? Okay, there is not. Moving on. No old business. New business. Review and consider the agreement from Spyglass Group, LLC, telecommunications services account audits. Introduce and call for considerations of an agreement with Spyglass Group, LLC to provide the following services. Number one, primary audit service. The company is engaging auditor as an independent contractor to analyze its primary telecommunications service accounts, which is local voice, data, internet, and wireless, to seek cost recovery, service elimination, and cost reduction recommendations. Auditor will deliver the recommendations to the company, implement recommendations that company elects for auditor to implement, and deliver a complete telecommunications inventory to the company. While auditor is performing its analysis, company will not make changes or perform internal cost reduction analysis with respect to provider accounts which company has included within the scope of the auditor's review. 2. Fees. Company will pay auditor the the company will pay the auditor fee to set forth below only the auditor recommendation implemented within 12 months of auditor delivering the recommendation to the company. 50% of any cost recovery, i.e. any refund, credit, compensation received by company relating to past services or charges. 12 times any service elimination savings, i.e. any monthly cost reductions received by a company relating to cancellations of any service, including monthly usage cost reductions. 12 times any cost reduction savings, i.e. any monthly cost reductions received by a company relating to the modification or negotiation of any service account or contract, including post-discount usage rate improvement. This is what we went over in the work session, gentlemen. Mr. Hicks, is there anything more along lines? This is basically someone coming in, giving us an audit, and nothing will change unless it's company-wise.
It's been about 10 years since we've performed an audit of this scope with our telecommunications. We've made several upgrades. This basically has another independent company that comes in and takes a look at our system, looks at our billing, and determines if there's any savings or any overcharges. If they locate, then we pay based on the schedule you just discussed. If nothing is found and everything is like it should be, there'd be no cost to the city.
Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen? Okay. You have heard the request. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second the motion.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, please cast your vote. All ayes, Mr. Hicks. Okay. Consider volunteer police roster approval. Introduce and call for consideration of a request from Human Resource Director Christina Meisner to approve the following list of volunteer police officers, chaplains, as required by the city's liability insurance carrier. Michael Truckee, Police Reserve. Keith Ellis, Chaplain. Fox Fleming, Chaplain. Okay, is there any questions or pertaining to the...
I make a motion we approve this volunteer police roster.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, please cast your vote. 5-0. Review and consider contract billing. Introduce and call for consideration of the following contract billing. White Sasser Construction, estimate number 6, $33,314.60. Construction, airport hangar improvements. Number 2, Barge, Wagner, Summer, and Cannon, Inc. Invoice number 144336 in the amount of $12,504.50. The contract administrative services for the airport hangar improvements. Number 3, Poly Engineering, Inc. Invoice number is 16196 in the amount of $34,573.26. Construction, engineering, and inspection on the A-Trip Dolphin Street project. Number 4, Jack Sherrick Farms. Invoice number 89 for $7,722.40. Contract services, sludge removal at Northeast Wastewater Treatment Plant. Number 5, Cap Risk Consulting Group, invoice 16021101 in the amount of $4,500, professional services for preparation of actuarial valuation, which is the long-term benefit plan for the city. Total contract billing is $92,614.76.
I make a motion by contract billing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, please cast your vote. 5-0. Review and consider travel request from the Administrative Office, Steve Hicks, the City Clerk Treasurer, 2016 Alabama League of Municipalities Convention in Huntsville, Alabama, May 14th through the 17th, 2016. Estimated cost is $1,442. E911 Lon Jones, the E911 Director, Second Quarterly NENA and Third Annual GIS Conference in Orange Beach, Alabama, April 18th through the 21st of 2016. Estimated cost $669.07. Y'all have heard the request for.
Make a motion, we approve the travel
Second.
request.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. There's no discussion. That's good. Thank you. Okay, request for disposal of inventory. First, introduce and call for consideration of a request to declare the following items as surplus property no longer needed for municipal purposes and to authorize disposal of property in a manner in accordance with state law. Administrative. There is a couple printers, desktop computer, time card, or time clock rather, and some more printers. Under the Civic Center time clock, there's 7 or 8 computer towers, and fire department, 3 chairs, 2 sofas, and a television. Is there any questions about the disposal of inventory? The fire department, yeah, that's the fire department has 3 chairs, 2 sofas, and a television.
Move we grant the request. Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, please cast your vote. And lastly, mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, let me begin by saying thank you to the Altrusa Club. I got caught up in recognizing the children and their beauty, but without the Altrusa, the actual pageant wouldn't be held, and they do a great deal for our city, as does all of our service clubs. Would also like to begin with the Parks and Recreation Department. Youth baseball, softball players are on teams for all divisions from 12 years old and under, with the season games to start March the 28th. Currently, there are 860 players. Church Youth Softball League, 5 teams, plan to start play the week of March the 28th. Adult Church Softball Leagues, 4 teams, plans to start play week of March the 28th. Youth Golf Clinic and League registration now through March the 25th. Tournaments played was February the 27th. Youth Baseball Tournament, there were 12 teams. March the 5th, there was Youth Softball Tournaments of 5 teams. March the 12th, Youth Softball Tournament, 8 teams. Scheduled tournaments to be played would be March the 19th, Youth Softball Tournament. March the 26th, Youth Baseball Tournament. April the 2nd, Youth Softball Tournament. April the 9th, Youth Softball Tournament. April the 16th, Soccer Play Date. And April the 23rd, Youth Baseball Tournament. Our annual Easter egg hunt is set for March the 26th at 9 a.m. at the Enterprise Recreational Complex. Permits approved in our engineering department, single family detached 2, valued at $285,000. Residential additions, 18, valued at $271,000. Commercial additions, 4, valued at $263,000. And 1 commercial permit valued at $2,062,000. Nuisance properties, investigated 8, verbal contact 6, notifications mailed 2. Also, we had a twist happen, and let me be patient with me as I go over the chain of events that has occurred with ADM and the demolition issue with the dilapidated housing. Let me give you a chronology if I can. Beginning in February 11th of 2016, Michael Walters, our engineering department head, contacted ADM concerning exemption from asbestos, national emissions standards for hazardous air pollution. Relative to inspections, sampling, and abatement prior to the demolition. Exemptions based on EPA asbestos clarification of intent published in the Federal Register, dated 7/28 of 95. All right, on February the 12th, 2016, ADEM emailed Michael requesting that the city answer 5 questions relative to the proposed citywide demolition and clearance program. The 17th of February addressed ADEM's 5 questions, cited on 7/28 of 95 notification of clarification as to why to consider Enterprise's project exempt. February the 27th, received a letter from ADEM granting exemption from asbestos requirements. However, ADEM encouraged wet demolition. March the 4th, received a letter from ADEM indicating that after review of the July 3rd, 2008 EPA memorandum, that the city believes, or now believes, that the city project could be viewed by EPA as being subject to the NESPA laws. EPA has given the enforcement of NESPA requirements to ADEM. Regardless of what ADEM determines the project exempt from ADEM NESPA requirements, EPA can become involved and determine otherwise. This is ADEM telling us this. My recommendation, or Michael's recommendation, is this. If the city's objective is to demolish as many public nuisance properties as possible, earmark all CDBG monies, $250,000 to actual demolition, clearance activities. The city would pay inspection. It's $300 to $400 per structure. Any stipulated asbestos abatements prior to demolition. If the city uses CDBG monies to pay the inspections and abatements where required, the number of demolitions would be reduced to approximately 60 structures. This would require DECA's approval to reduce demolition from approximately 105 structures to 60 structures. My recommendation to the council, and I've taken privileges at this particular point, is I'm reaching out to DECA for a joint meeting with ADEM. One is I think this will have a precedence if we don't at least work with DECA, because it's going to affect any grant of a demolition basis from this point forward to anyone that would receive a grant in the state. So I think we should partner with DECA, meet with ADEM, Lance LaFleur, and begin discussions of trying to get clarification on this and move forward on the demolition of the houses. I'd rather have complete clarification than absolutely wondering, and I think the impact that it has toward the grant process of not only us but other cities being able to receive those in the future is worth pursuing. So once I come back, then we'll look at listening to what Michael's got to say, but I'd be very remiss if I did not take the opportunity to sit down with both entities and try to work out an option that's good for the city. Moving forward, our skate park compliance workshop is set for March the 22nd in Montgomery. Airport hangar renovation, work on hangar C and D is completed, and work has begun on hangar E. Brooks Circle utility and street improvements, field survey complete, and the design is in process. Fire department, 6 firefighters completed airport firefighter certification through the Alabama Fire College. In our police department, I'd like to remind the citizens and ask the media to please help us to let all the citizens know, or those children that have babies, that the police department continues to offer free child care or car seat installation. The 5 new Tahoes are complete and on the road and patrolling the city. Public Works, we actually repaired some main sewer lines at East Adams Street. They also received repaired some sewer lines and manholes and storm drains on Omega. Dolphin Street is 70% complete at this particular point. We'll continue to remind the public that we did close those streets as of this Monday, continue to be patient, and we will work with the contractors to get this project finished as soon as possible. Water Department, our aquifer recharge is continuing for all city wells and is 75% complete. Human Resources, sexual harassment training for the city staff is 75% complete. We have gotten a grant from Alabama Power Company of $2,000. We've chose to partner with the city from a standpoint and budgeted the money for a new sign out on Highway 84, a new welcome sign. Our portion would be $4,068, and it is staying in compliance with all our other signs throughout the city. Movie Under Moonlight is taking place on Friday, April the 8th at Bates Memorial Stadium, showing the Peanuts movie. Gates are open at 5:30 p.m. Movie will begin at dark. Free admission. Bounce houses for the children. Concessions will be available at a very low cost. We ask that there be no outside coolers. Bring your own chairs and blankets and enjoy family night. And this is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Cooper.
I have something here about an economic impact that has happened the first of the month over at Enterprise High School, where we had the South End Show Choir. We had 17 schools, and we had schools as far as Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, and Indiana, and of course with this there were 300 students with over 1,000 patrons. And then after that they had the Alabama Band Directors Association assessment performance, where they had 1,800 students from 41 different schools. And then the last part where you had the District 8 Honor Band, where there were 500 students, and we had a total of over 3,300 students plus parents. And of course, at our eating places and the filling stations and all that and whatever, this was somewhat of an economic boost for our city. And you should have heard the comments that was made about our school building over there and the facilities and how they were able to play in there, and the acoustics and whatnot was suitable for that program. So they really left here with a good impression of our city, and some of those schools, smaller schools, were somewhat lost when they come here because they never seen anything like this. But they was, and Mr. Mayor, they also mentioned about how clean the city was, you know, and things like that. So this made a big difference. So our hats are off to our city employees and to our city council and our citizens for providing such. And when people come here, they leave here with a proud attitude. Thank you.